Hello there, I'm Robert McKay. The channel, of course, is Whiskey for Beginners. I hope you will like the video and consequently click the like button. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll share my videos. Obviously, if you've seen them, you'll know that the early videos are even worse quality than this one. The equipment hasn't changed. I found a better place to record, and so it looks better. What I want to do today, and let me just preface that by remarking that there are some whiskey channels. Every video they have is a list. The 5 whiskeys I'm tasting now, the 10 best finished whiskeys, what have you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not my style. I have not, sometimes those videos are entertaining and informative to watch, but that isn't the way I think. I'm not looking for lists of things. I want to know about a particular whiskey. Howsoever, I'm going to do kind of a list video today. I've already recorded as I record this. I haven't yet uploaded it. What order things go onto the channel is up in the air. I finished my list of Whiskey Basics videos, and now I just record them, and then whichever I feel like uploading, I do. So this may or may not come before the other video, which is a tour of the bottles I have on hand. Except I left one off, and I'll try to remember to mention that to you when we come to it now, because it will be in this video. What I'm going to show you are the favorites among the bottles that I have on hand right now. And I've already gone on without actually doing what I intend to do. But I want to mention that I don't have a large budget. I don't have much storage space. So I don't have a big, huge collection. I don't have tens or hundreds of bottles. And so my favorites are a small group as well. The favorite that I have on hand right now is Knob. Let me see. It is a Knob Creek single barrel. It's a single barrel select bourbon, and it's a store pick. You're not going to be able to read that strip on the bottom probably, but it's a Kelly Liquors store pick. Kelly Liquors is a local chain. I believe they have a store in Santa Fe. Other than that, most, if not all, the stores are here in Albuquerque. And Korean people own it, which is one reason I like them, because my wife is Korean. I met her in Korea. But this is one of their store picks. They went to Kentucky and tasted various barrels and liked this one. And so they took that one barrel and dumped it and bottled it. And that's this. This is all from the one barrel. And it would be my favorite bourbon, except that I don't list, or I don't put anything on my favorites list, except those things which I can afford and find whenever I want to. Next is from Balcones Distilling in Waco, Texas. It's their Baby Blue corn whiskey. It's only a year old, but look how dark it is. And the flavors are correspondingly rich and dense. You're not going to get corn whiskey, probably you're not going to get corn whiskey that is as complex as bourbon, simply because the mash bill has to be at least 80% corn, and at that point, Balcones just uses 100% corn, roasted Texas blue corn as it happens. And then to age corn whiskey, you're either using a charred used barrel or an uncharred new barrel. And so in interacting with the wood, there's not as much for the whiskey to get out. but this is still mighty good stuff. I've had bourbons that were 6 or 8 times as old, aging in charred new barrels that did not taste as good as this Baby Blue. And then here's the bottle that for some reason didn't get into my bottles on hand video. And I made that, I believe it was just a few, well, I know it was just a few days ago, because on Wednesday I took my wife to the airport and she flew to Austin, Texas to visit our kids and granddaughter. And this, I believe I had put aside to be at room temperature, which the weather we've been having, I don't need to do that right now, but it had been necessary because my storage is cooler than the rest of the house. But I forgot to put this bottle in my bottles on hand video. So as one of my favorite bottles on hand is Lineage. It's Texas single malt whiskey. Now, single malt is a British term. Why Americans are using British terms for whiskey we make in the States is beyond me. But what it means in British law, single means it's one distillery, and malt means that's what they make it out of. Now, malt means malted barley. Barley that they've soaked in water, allowed to sprout, and then heated to stop the sprouting, and that turns the starches in the grain into sugar, which is what yeast eats. It ups the alcohol yield in the distiller's beer, which they don't call it beer in Scotland. I think they'd use the term wash. Don't ask me. My ancestors were originally from Scotland, but I do not comprehend anything British. They have made such a hash of the language. But anyway, what this really is, in good old ordinary plain English, is barley whiskey. The mash is 100% barley, and I believe they use Texas barley for this. I know some of their stuff, they have Scottish barley. This may be too, I don't know. I think it's Texas barley, but it is 100% barley in the mash bill. And this stuff, it's 3 years old, and it's delicious stuff. It's a little too rich, so I don't always get a bottle, but it's a $40 bottle and worth at least $10 more than that. So those are my favorite bottles on hand. I'm going to be going to work. I'm recording this between the time I got up and the time I leave for work. So I don't have an actual glass of whiskey, but I use my imaginary Glencairn. It's filled with imaginary whiskey. And let me see, how will we do this today? Let's go to Korea since I mentioned that. Kupshida.